Hello, I'm Frank Caruso, producer of Oregon Life, and welcome to a brand new episode. As you can see, I'm on my bike right now, and I'm on my bike because often I'm filming episodes on my bike and filming the participants telling their story. And in this episode, Rick and Ollie, man's best friend, dog's best friend, you will see as you continue to watch this episode of Oregon Life. And once again, I'd like to thank our contributor, Tour Horse Insurance, who's always there for OCAmedia and Oregon Life. And if you would like to contribute to Oregon Life, or Let's Talk Oregon, or 2 tickets, please, do so by emailing Paul at OCAmedia.com. And now, enjoy this episode of Rick and Ollie and Oregon Life.
Hi, I'm Rick Shapey. I have a beautiful little dog by the name of Oliver James, or Oliver Richard, excuse me. And he's a Bouchon Shih Tzu. They call him teddy bears. And he is approximately 6 years old. And he is probably one of the smartest dogs I've ever owned. He minds well, he's very calm, he doesn't have any anger in him at all, no mean strokes at all. Sometimes he can read things that I can't even imagine. He knows when I'm sad, he knows when I'm happy. It's incredible. He doesn't like rain, and sometimes I have to pull tricks on him where I take him out the side of the garage, and we have arborvitaes along the side of the garage, and he goes under there and piddles. And the other day he went out and piddled, and he came back, and I looked at him in the eye, and I said, "Ollie, did you go poop?" And he looked at me and he went back and pooped. I could not believe that. And if I leave the door from the house out to the garage open, he will not go through that doorway until I turn around and give him the sign to come to me, and then he comes. Now, I did not train him to do that. It's just a natural built-in thing. I think his mom and dad were professors. I think that's what it was. With my beautiful friend, Ollie. Let's roll, shall we, buddy? Okay, let me turn the bike on here. Okay, let's go for a nice quiet bike ride with Ollie down the road. And here we go. We often go maybe, a couple, 3 miles at least. And he doesn't really need to have to get out of the bike, out of his basket often. He can sit in there for 10, 15 minutes and be perfectly happy. He likes going to the park because there's other people around, and he just loves people. If he sees little children, he often wants to stop and wag his tail and be with his children. It's kind of funny. He is very content in there. If he sees a rabbit or a squirrel, he sits right in there, he doesn't do a thing. Sometimes I kind of remind him, I say, "Don't jump out, Ollie," or "No," I just say no. And he sits there and looks at me like, "What are you talking about? I'm not gonna jump out." So yeah, he's a pretty cool dog. We go to one of our favorite trips is through the Arboretum, and a lot of people often wave me over. They say, "Oh, would you stop when I pet your dog?" And of course I say yes, and so they stop and talk to Ollie, and I kind of tell them all about him and everything, and everybody falls in love with him. He's just a natural love maker.
Say hi to Ollie.
Hi. Is that where you live? Yeah. Okay. So anyway, through the Arboretum, and then we go over through the zoo, or along the edge of the zoo, and I'm in Rose Street and down to Winger Park. Now, there's a little park there with they rent out boats and stuff, and Ollie just loves that. He loves watching people going out in the lake in boats. He won't do it himself, I don't think. I'm going to try it someday, but he sits on the bench at the park, and doesn't tug on the leash at all. He just sits there and watches people. If they come to him, he likes that, but he won't make a surge towards it all. He just sits right there. He is a wonderful little psychologist, therapist, let's call it. He's always there for me. And in the wintertime, he makes a wonderful hot water bottle. He just sits in my lap and watches TV. And whenever we watch any kind of dog on television, he jumps off my lap and runs to the TV set and wags his tail at the dog on TV. It's so funny. It's just quite a moment. I try to tell him that I'm trying to teach him the difference between a TV dog and a real dog. But for some reason, he doesn't get it. He just wags his tail, and he doesn't bark. He just wags his tail at the dog and looks at him on the screen. I don't know. It's fun.
How many days a week do you ride?
Whenever there's sunshine. If I have nothing planned, that is, you know. When you're retired, you know, your days aren't full of activity all the time. So we go out, we go to the dog park every day of the week from 9 until 10. And we're amongst all kinds of little dogs this size, and they run around and play, and they wrestle, and it's just a joy to watch them. It's better than any kind of TV show. I mean, it's incredible. And if people didn't know dogs, they'd think they're fighting, but they just roll around and growl and play. And he's got this little thing, he goes, and it's his funny way of talking to other dogs. And the other dogs respond to him. It's fun, it's so funny. But he runs, he loves to run, and he's the best champion fence runner they have. Where German Shepherd's on one side of the fence, and Ollie's on this side of the fence, and he runs up to the dog and barks at the dog on the other side of the fence. In other words, he's probably talking to him and say, "Come on, run." And so the German Shepherd takes off, and he takes over after him, and he actually keeps up to a German Shepherd on the fence line. It's just amazing. So he has been known to he keeps, and he actually does almost a city block, sometimes a block and a half of running fast. He stretches his legs straight out, and how he gets that speed, nobody seems to can figure it out. But when a little dog like this keeps up with a German Shepherd, he's got something extra in him. One of our favorite trips is going over to Lake Wabisa, and they have that bridge along the edge of the lake, and he just loves that. Dogs are not allowed off leash or even on a leash. They have to be on a bike or they're not allowed because of all the traffic. But he just loves sitting in the basket going down through there, and we can stop at the little observation points, and he watches for fish. He looks down in the water, and if something jumps up there, he just loves seeing that. He kind of doesn't bark really, he just kind of reacts kind of funny. But yeah, that's one of our favorite trips, over that bridge and into McFarland, and we often go see my son living in McFarland. I often, like for example, one of our favorite trips, another favorite trip, is taking our bike, or I have a rack in my car, and we go over to the Sheridan Causeway and unload there, and we go over the causeway on our bike and down Williamson Street and down across East Washington Avenue and up around the Capitol Square and down State Street, which is really a fun trip for us. I have so many wonderful memories when I was a kid on State Street. But anyway, we did that, and then we go over to Lake Shore Drive along Monona Bay there, and back around and back to Sheridan. But it's a long, fun trip, and we do stop maybe a couple, 3 times at a park bench. Now we turn right here. There we go. Let's kind of get off the main drag here. Okay. But notice how calm he is. He's just sitting there looking around. He doesn't jump around. He's just a very calm dog. You know, you get back love what you put in. In other words, the more love I give him, the more love I get back. And it's so obvious. It's so obvious. Whoops, here we go.
Sorry, Ollie.
That's called WD-40 time.
Yeah. Just to let people know I'm coming.
That's good. Well, it doesn't look like rain, so let's keep going. Yeah. All the time. Yeah, this is one of our most fun ones. We do go to Anderson Park often. The dog park there is not real large for little dogs, so we sometimes go into the big dog park and walk. But it's I don't know. It's not as pleasant as the other one. I shouldn't say that out loud, but it's not. There's not a lot of green. It's all weeds. Then they have the conservatory where you can walk on the path, and the various plants are identified on stone. It's really a neat trip walk, and he likes that. There's a lot of good scents or sniffing going on, and he really enjoys that a lot. That's one of his favorite places, Anderson Conservatory. And then we go over here almost 90% of the time when we're in town, when we don't take a road trip. Have you seen any chipmunks yet? Eh? You watch for cows and chippers and rabbits and squirrels, kids. I didn't see much at all. You know, a lot of people, as we ride around and we go past people, they all like to stop and watch me go by. And my comment to them is, this is what we call a pooch in a bucket. and they all respond with a great laughter. Or pooch in the pail is another one. We can headline this thing, pooch in the pail. Yeah, look at Ollie. He's just looking around. He's just like he's the king of England here. Well, Oregon is growing. It's a beautiful, beautiful village. We like it here a lot. It's everybody's so friendly, and you know, I grew up in a neighborhood where one neighbor would actually talk to the other neighbor, and you walk down the street and they would socialize, and it would be a fun place to live. It's not so much that way anymore, but in certain areas it is. Now, I probably know on our street left here, there's maybe 5 or 6 neighbors that over the years we talk and we wave at one another as we go by in the cars and stuff. It's just a friendly gesture, which is nice. Never feel threatened. Obviously use common sense and lock your door at night and stuff like that. But even when you're home, you should always keep your door locked. Anyway, but Ollie is a good burglar alarm. You know, we usually, well, we can leave our bike here. Let's go down the end here. If he hears anybody out of the ordinary, he'll bark like crazy. And he's normally not a barker, which I find interesting. For example, when UPS or somebody comes deliver something to the door, he'll bark like crazy. But if the mailman comes where he's on a regular basis, he doesn't do anything. He doesn't respond at all. So he's worth his weight in gold. He's probably maybe 3 or 4 different burglar alarms. Now see, right here is a spot where it says off-leash area. And we used to love this place, but they haven't mowed it. The village, for some reason, is not mowing it. And I spoke to some guy the other day, and he said they're going to maybe do something about it. But Ollie he doesn't like to walk in weeds. He likes to mowed. And if he had his choice, it'd be on pavers. What is that thing, Ollie? Come on, bud. Now you got to watch for squirrels, huh? Maybe there's going to be a chipper or a squirrel or a mouse. And if he sees a squirrel, it's so funny because all of a sudden he'll get down in his attack mode. His tail will go down, his legs go real low, and he'll kind of slowly walk. It's just a riot to watch him. As if he's like a big lion attacking a fox or something. What you see, Balls? Huh? He's on the trail, his sniffer's going. He knows when I'm sad and when I'm happy. If I'm sitting around in the house and in the morning I go through this little ritual and I get up and get dressed and all my things, and he's still in bed and he's just sitting there watching me. And then I leave the bedroom and he stays in bed and he waits for maybe 5-10 minutes after I make my coffee. He comes out and runs up to me and wags his tail and jumps on me like I've been in Europe for 6 years. It's just a riot. And you know, that obviously is showing love for him. He's just a very, very happy dog. But it's so funny, he does this on a regular basis. I don't think I would be the person I am right now if it wasn't for him in many ways. He keeps me, we talk, we have conversations. I win the arguments all the time, fortunately. But he sometimes looks at me and he kind of cocks his head and is not quite sure what I'm saying, but yeah, I think he agrees with me. And we talk, and sometimes he talks to me, not obviously by barking, but just by his eyes and by his movements. And he cuddles to me. He jumps up and works himself into my arm and body, sits there. He does that in the car sometimes. He sits over in the passenger seat or on the floor of the passenger, but then sometimes he jumps up on my lap and just plops on my lap where he doesn't interfere with my steering or anything, but he's just right there. You know, didn't call him, he just does that. So it's kind of silly, I agree. But you know, I guess everybody has different things. But here he comes. Come on, buddy. Are you ready to go? You want to go by the car? Want to go home? How would you like to go get a cookie? He's got that waddle. See you later, alligator. Well, thank you for watching Ollie and myself on our little journeys. We certainly have a lot of fun together. We go through a lot of different experiences every day. He sure makes life easier for me. See you later. Have a good day. Goodbye and good luck.